Standing up to your child's OCD may look like tears and tantrum, but it's actually the pathway to building strength. When we look at the roles of a parent with a child who is experiencing OCD, we often want to look at catching any feeding and attention the OCD is getting by accident. And what you would typically do and how you would parent a child without OCD ends up making the OCD stronger. So what does this mean? We want to catch that reassurance or those accommodations where, if your child is experiencing a just right OCD, where it just doesn't feel right and they are doing everything to feel good and rid the discomfort that they're having, a parent may go and grab them another new sock or help them put their shoe back on and off. Or if they have a chore that they're meant to do, but it triggers the OCD, the parent may want to accommodate by just removing it and doing it themselves. What this does is it actually keeps the OCD growing and it keeps feeding it. So we want to learn, how do we support our children without feeding the OCD and supporting the OCD? So we know accommodations will make matters worse and feed the OCD. So what do we do about that? And we often get that question or those statements, well, if I don't do it, my child will become irate or they'll start crying, or I can see they're visibly upset and I don't know what to do, and anything I do to try to make them feel better. So your child is left feeling more overwhelmed because you're removing those accommodations. But what we do know is that the more that your child escalates and you do feed into it, you've just taught the OCD that this is the next level to go to, that the problem needs to be fixed and there is something to be feared. And if I scream loud enough or if I refuse loud enough, I will feel better. My parents will help me and they will remove that distress. And so we always want to say is sit through it. It feels awful, but validate your child's feelings and sit with them through it without the accommodation. This might mean getting out of the door, you're a little slower. So having neighbors, friends, families help with, if you have another child, getting them to school, or let work know you're going to be late for a couple weeks while you try to help your child sit through this discomfort and not feed into the OCD. The other piece is we want to be mindful of ping-ponging. If you're engaging with the OCD is going to throw back something else. And before you know it, you're in this ping-pong game because you keep responding to it or you keep accommodating. And instead, we want to just drop the paddle and walk away. So this means if the OCD is saying there's this discomfort, it needs to be fixed, we're going to say, I know you can handle this, you got this. And you can either sit there quietly while the child works through their emotions and allow their anxiety to come down naturally, or you remove yourself. Those are both things that are worked on through treatment to determine what is best for you and for your child. But we don't want to respond back. If the OCD says something back like, nope, this needs to be fixed, this is awful, we don't want to keep that conversation going. So we want to drop the ping pong paddle and sit with that discomfort. So this is where treatment is really important. We really want to include family members as much as possible to work with you and your child in learning what are the appropriate steps, how to support them. We want to learn how to identify when it's OCD versus your child, and making sure your children's needs are being met without feeding the OCD. So in treatment, we work together, we make fun games and have reward systems in order for your child to sit in the discomfort and for you to know and feel equipped to support them at the best of your ability.